Hi, this is Masenya of Masenya Attorneys Incorporated, a law firm based in Centurion, Republic of South Africa. We boast 24 years of legal practice in the areas of commercial and tax laws. My professional team and I have over the years proved great success in assisting numerous clients with a myriad of commercial and tax matters involving millions of rands. We are skilled, experienced, qualified, and have the capacity to assist you. Email us at clients@cntlaw.co.za or call us 011-318-6592 or 084-383-7747. All consultations are strictly by appointment.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to Solomon's Temple. I'm Uncle Solomon and it's good to be with you. Again, I'm back again. I was away in South Korea for a global conference where leaders, Christian leaders from all across the world, over 200 countries came together. And it was just awesome, very awesome to hear what God is doing in the global church. It's important. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also let me know where you're watching from. And if you're interested in trying to look at how to make money from YouTube, from creating YouTube content, I train people on how to use YouTube and create content that will generate money. You need to know how to do that. A lot of people are on YouTube but do not know how to use it. You think you just jump on it and then everything will be fine, but there are principles governing it. I offer training. If you want to book a sport, please get in touch with me on this number. I charge a fee for it, a small fee for it, but do get in touch with me on that number. Good to see every one of you who is here at this time. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Molo. Hi, everyone. Wape, it's been a while. Siaki, all the way from NZ, New Zealand. Good to see you here. Suleiman from Spain. Lami, good to have you here. Kaja, and everybody who is here. So recently, what's his name? Joshua Selman was in South Africa recently, right? Now, he came into the country and he was speaking at a church called House of Treasure, headed by Felix Oko. He's a leader there. Now, obviously, we have a lot of Nigerian apostles or pastors and prophets coming to South Africa, to speak and all that kind of stuff. And this is where he was speaking here. Yeah, no, not here. What did I just put there? Let me do this. He wasn't speaking there. Because I wanted it to just have a look at, this one here. I want you to just have a look at so he was speaking at the House of Treasure, Looking Jesus Ownership Conference, they call it. So there is Anselm Madubuko, there is Pastor Jerry Eze, he was also there. There was Michael Oropo, and then there was David Igweli, and then there was Apostle Johnson Suleiman, Joshua Selman, that is, and Felix Oko is the pastor. So for me, first thing here, right? I think as a church or as a ministry, you have the right to assemble any lineup of speakers for your conference. But I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't bring all these people together. Every one of them here is Nigerian in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have a problem with that. Now, I'm not saying what the pastor did, what Felix Oko did was wrong. No, that's his stake. It's fine. But I have a problem with that. You are a missionary to this country. Your lineup start to finish are Nigerians. right? You have been living in this country for over 20 years. Your lineup are Nigerians. Last year, almost everyone was Nigerian. The same thing. I do not agree with that. I believe as a Nigerian or as somebody who is not born of a certain country, you are sent there as a missionary, you need to be able to give platform to local leaders, indigenous leaders. And they don't have to be as great, I don't know what great is actually, as these people. But to bring a lineup that is this way, first, I'm ashamed of it, to be honest with you. This lineup doesn't represent the church, doesn't represent the amalgamation of the South African church and the Nigerian church or the African church. I have a problem with that. I need to say that first. So that's what Joshua Selman came for. And he's been there, I think, once or twice. This is, I think, his third time now. So in the course of the ownership conference, he made a statement about South Africa not having apostolic voices. That South Africa do not have apostolic voices. God is going to raise apostolic voices. Now, a lot of people had problem with that, started attacking him. It's still a conversation, still trending here in South Africa. They attacked him. Who are you to come here and say this? Do you even know the history of this country? Do you know the past apostles? And I totally agree, and I see what they're saying. I've lived in South Africa for about 20 years. Do I agree with the statement that he made? Totally. I do not agree with you, but with him. But first, let's actually hear exactly what he said that really got people attacking him like seriously. It's a conversation from pastors to church leaders to there are videos being made. It's just a huge conversation. Here we go. Watch the video.
The Lord himself will begin to raise and train a new breed of indigenous.
Guys, please pop up your volume a little bit, okay? In case you feel your volume is down. Let me start it again.
2. The Lord himself will begin to raise and train a new breed of indigenous apostolic voices. Indigenous, not just people coming, indigenous apostolic voices.
Okay, so he's saying the Lord himself will begin to raise a new indigenous apostolic voices. So obviously he's saying local South Africans, right? Local indigenous. Is he saying that there are no apostolic voices in the country? I don't know what he meant by that, but there are apostolic voices in the country. He doesn't live in this country. I live in this country. I've been involved in the church realm for quite a while, you know, as a magazine editor, as a radio person, as a TV person, all of it, right? The Lord will begin to raise new. Okay, so maybe he's saying new and young. Let's listen.
The truth I will tell you is that South Africa has not witnessed a lot of apostolic voices.
Okay, so South Africa has not witnessed a lot of apostolic voices. What does he mean by that? And that's where a lot of people have a problem with it. Some people don't misinterpret him because they're saying he said there are no apostolic voices in South Africa, or there's never been an apostolic voices in South Africa. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying they have not witnessed a lot of apostolic voices. But is that true? I don't think so. Right? Listen to that again.
Has not witnessed a lot of apostolic voices. There have just been a few faithful pillars, like your man of God and the angel in this house. But there
okay, so a few faithful pillars, and now he's promoting the person who invited him, Felix Oko. Your man of God and the person in this house. It's an apostolic voice. Though I consider Felix Oko an apostolic voice, I wouldn't consider, I know him personally, and I can send him a message right now talking to you. I wouldn't consider him an apostolic voice, though they call him an apostle. Guys, we need to understand the role of an apostle. One of the major roles of an apostle is the apostle disembarks from just being a governor of a church and infiltrate the marketplace, and I'm not just saying business, infiltrates politics, influence politics to make it biblical, just, fair, influence education, influence all these areas. So a lot of these people that call themselves apostles and all they do is just preach in churches and all that kind of stuff, they don't have influence. What have you influenced? Because that's the role. That's what Paul the apostle was about. You remember in the book of Acts when he went to Athens and he went to the Acropolis in Athens to engage civil leaders, to engage governors, government leaders, to engage. That's the role of an apostle, guys. That's one of the major roles, not the only role, but one of the major roles. Anyway, let's go.
It's about to be a very strange move of God, where God will start handpicking men. Many of those young people, please listen, many of them will be carried out of South Africa for their training before they return back. They will not be trained. This is what the Lord told me. I saw 3 nations. Some of them will be taken to Nigeria for training.
Okay. Why would God? I'm not saying that God cannot do that. I have a problem. God is trying to raise apostles over South Africa and then he will take them to Nigeria. Guys, do you know Nigeria is in a mess in spite of all the apostles that we have? They've not been able to influence government and politics. That's why we're in a mess today. Right now, the food prices, there's just a whole lot of problem in Nigeria. So you would take them to Nigeria. Yeah, there are faithful leaders in Nigeria that can actually train them. Right? But why would he take them to a country like Nigeria? How would Nigeria be an example? Not just the leaders that would train them, but how would Nigeria as a nation be an example? The church in Nigeria is not an example for me, guys. There is part of the church that is an example. But the majority of the church in Nigeria is not an example to don't try to model the Nigerian church, please. There are a few of them. I'm not saying all Nigerian churches. There are very few of them that we don't even know about, because most of them have been turned into a business. So God will take somebody. If I meet them at the airport, I will tell them, please don't go to Nigeria. Go to Korea. Go to South Korea. That's when you're going to see how the apostolic movement actually infiltrated business, entertainment, politics, government, universities, academia. So I actually have a bit of a problem with that, right? Let's listen again.
I saw 3 nations. Some of them will be taken to Nigeria for training.
And you know what they do? You know, a lot of South Africans go to his church for training because he has a school, like a Bible school or so. For me, if you ask me what he's doing, he's recruiting people. He's recruiting people. And they will go there. Why would God can train you in where you are? But he's recruiting people. God, let me say this, guys. This is Joshua Selman. I never met him before, but I come from the same city like him. I have so much in common with him when it comes to culture than any other of these guys that you see. Because we're from, if I met him right now, we're not even going to speak English. We're going to speak a local dialect, local language that we both understand because we grew up in the same city. We're from the same state. You know, he grew up in Zaria actually, but we're from the same state. Guys, I don't understand these things. You will send them to Nigeria for training. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. He's recruiting. Do you know how many people from South Africa go to these guys' churches? Spend a month. They give them money. They're guests. They love all of that. They give a seat. I wouldn't actually, matter of fact, Nigerian apostolic movement should come to South Africa and learn about how to be apostles in the marketplace. Integrity. We don't have integrity in Nigeria. We don't have excellence. South Africa do much more than us. If you're comparing, if you're putting the one and one together, we don't know how to influence government because we look at the government that we have. It's a reflection of who we are. The politicians will give them money. They will not say anything. The church in Nigeria has disappointed the country. Let's finish it.
I saw 3 nations. Some of them will be taken to Nigeria for training. Some of them will be taken to America for training. Some of them will be taken.
Why would you go to America? The American gospel is what got us into this mess that we're in today. You know, the name it and claim it, the prosperity gospel. That's why we're in this mess that we're in today. The American church, excuse me. Thank God will send them to America.
Taken to Europe for training.
Europe. Where in Europe would he take them for training? So why would you name Nigeria and America as countries, and then you get to Europe, you didn't pick a country, you pick a whole continent? Guys, please allow me to analyze this video, right? Because I just see certain things that is just, it's just, no. Let's go on.
They will not be established there. They will only be taken by the Spirit, like Moses was taken out of Egypt, then sent back to Egypt. But there will be a new breed.
Moses was taken out of Egypt. Where did Moses go to? Where did Moses go to? He spent his years almost in isolation before he went back to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. But why would God sending you to America? You think I'm impressed with the American church? I'm impressed with the Nigerian church? If you ask me to name you top 5 nations that the church is very effective in the country, where the apostolic movement is strong, I wouldn't name Nigeria or America in the top 5. No, I wouldn't. Because it's more about themselves. Because you see, the apostolic movement is supposed to influence society, push society to a place where things are done right, hold the government accountable. You build these roads, you build these schools, you build this hospital. If you don't, would speak. Not just sitting in your church. They come and give you gifts, you preach, and they give you Rolls Royce. No, guys.
Very ordinary, unassuming young men and women. They will arise by the Spirit of grace. Many of you may not realize the kinds of investments that have been made over South Africa. There has been a cry that God will arise and visit the land. And let me tell you, in this season, God is about to move in a very powerful way. So in the coming months, weeks, some of you will begin to have very strange burdens of the Spirit. You will find yourself for 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, literally go out of this place. You will disguise your going using a job, using marriage. It doesn't matter. You must learn to look beyond what is taking you. There are graces, there are mantles, there are trainings, there are wells that you must drink from. But I can tell you this,
all right, so this is the reason why Joshua Selman is being attacked in South Africa. Now, I just attacked the issue. I didn't attack him because I'm not going to attack when you when you are having a conversation or when you disagree with something. Don't attack the person. Attack the issue, what the person said. But unfortunately, a lot of people online, South Africans, are attacking him. They're even beginning to attack Nigeria as a nation. No, no, no. Attack the issue. No, this you said, I don't agree with. That you said, I do not agree with. And a lot of what he said in this video, I do not agree with it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Joshua Selman had said that I agree with. But a lot of what he said in this video, I do not agree with. He must understand the history of the South African church, the apostolic movement in South Africa. He must first understand it from the white church and from the black church, because in South Africa, there are two churches, whether we like it or not. There's a white church, there's a black church. It's a reality of the history of oppression and apartheid that brought us to this place today. Has he studied it? There was a time we went to a place in Krugersdorp. It's a guy who started the AFM, Apostolic Faith Mission. His name is John G. Lake, who went to where, when he first came, that was where he was at. There are certain places we went to and prayed. You need to know all this history. People like Smith Wigglesworth, they used to come to this country. You need to know all of this. People like Bengu, from a black side now, black church. We need to understand all of that. There are some of them that, because not much was written about them, they were apostles of their time, not much was written about them. There's a lot of documentation, books, videos about them that we don't even know them. I agree that the South Africa as a nation, Nigeria as a nation, need to collaborate in a lot of ways. But sadly for me, as a Nigerian, the Nigerian church is a very good example of a church that has fallen, of a church that has no influence. They only keep people, collect money. That's what they do. A church that cannot influence the government. A church that will build universities, and the universities are some of the most expensive universities in the country. That's not an influential church at all. A church that celebrates stuff that there's no difference between the church and politicians, between pastors and politicians. Guys, I don't know how to say that. But Joshua Selman, what he said is worthy of the attack that he had received. But he himself is not worthy of the attack. So please, guys, don't attack Joshua Selman as a person. No, no, no. Analyze what he said, just like I just did. You agree with it, you don't agree with it, it's fine. And it's okay for us to disagree and still be friends, guys. I'm not that kind of person. You know, there are some pastors, I talk about them here or what they said, and then they see me and they're not happy on this, and they don't even want to speak to you guys. Guys, come on, guys. Come on. Indeed, South Africa is in an era right now where there's a need for voices. And there are those voices. There are those voices. And God is going to raise them, whichever way he wants to. But I pray that God will not send them to Nigeria or the US, America, to be mentored and raised. Guys. Yeah, Nigeria, there are, like I said, there are leaders there. There's a guy called Beli Akani. Bemi Akani also. He's somewhere. My younger brother used to go there during his university days, somewhere in Boko, in Benue State. Top leaders. You don't even get to hear about those leaders that much. Anyway, I see all your comments, guys. Thank you so much. Well, God bless Nigeria. God bless South Africa. And God bless Joshua Selman. Have a great evening, guys.